A very good morning from a wonderfully sunny Darwin morning for the course staff SuperSprint up here. I've got Craig Lowndes with me. We're here live, Paddock Pass Live, powered by Repco. Firstly, Craig, we need to ask you, mate, how's Levi? You missed last weekend. He'd had a motocross accident. Is he recovered and all going okay? Yeah,
look, he's fine. I think there's one of those things that, he's loves the racing side of it, but in motocross, which is actually not a bad thing. But yeah, he was out practicing and had a bit of an off, did a bit of internal damage, but look, he'll be fine. He just needs a bit of rest up. He's more frustrated because he was supposed to race the next day. But anyway, it's another whole story. But I'm glad to be back. As you said, it's a beautiful day up here and looking forward to a cracking racing weekend.
And it's another weekend up here in Darwin, shotgun event. We've got back-to-back sessions. We'll be going live on Fox 506 this morning. You watched last weekend. We had a hard and soft tyre round. This weekend we'll be on the Dunlop soft tyre all weekend. What are your thoughts on that going forward?
Well, actually, sitting at home and watching, I think, was fantastic in the sense of seeing what all the teams are doing and how they're managing the tyres. Last weekend with the hard and the soft, I think people were very quite pleasantly surprised how long the soft lasted. Everyone thought it was going to drop away, but it didn't. And you sort of saw that when you have people like Anton and a few other people that actually kept reusing used softs. And I think that everyone up and down pit lane would have taken a lot of information out of last week, knowing that this weekend's all about just that soft tyre. So it does take an element away, probably makes it a little bit easier for teams to probably come up with a better strategy because they're not worrying about using the hard or the soft. And to be honest, I was out here yesterday and everyone seemed quite calm and relaxed and really looking forward to hitting the track again this weekend.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's almost like we've got 4 days of racing broken up with 5 days in between. You know, everyone stayed around, we go again, slightly different tyre strategy. Big announcement during the week, mate. We are on Paddock Pass Live, powered by Repco. So our good friends at Repco announced a 5-year major sponsorship announcement based around the Bathurst 1000 event. That was great news.
Oh, it's great, and Repco's been a iconic sort of Australian brand, and it's great to see them involved in the sport again. So Jack Brabham, we both met him and knew him, and he did such a great thing for that brand.
He did. One thing I think, talking to all the drivers, the heat up here last week was pretty warm. We are this weekend 9 weeks later than we normally run up here in Darwin, and that June date that we typically come and race here, it's warm when you're out in the sun, but as soon as you get out of the sun, it's sort of, you feel a bit of respite from the heat. It's already muggy here, isn't it? Humidity is tipped to be 80-odd% today. How are these guys going to deal with that? Oh,
look, as you know, I think that inside the cabins of the cars are about sort of 25 to 30 degrees hotter than ambient. This weekend is definitely going to be hotter than last weekend. They will, as you said, they've had probably 3 or 4 days off to recover, hydrate. Everyone's pretty smart up and down pit lane. Everyone's got the ice baths. Everyone's hydrating. It's got the hydrolytes in the slushy machines. I'm sort of itching to sort of see what goes on because, talking to both Shane and Jamie after the weekend, they pulled up really well.
We've got our good mate Matt Nolte up above us there. He'll be joining us in commentary today. Both myself and Matt will cover the support categories here this weekend. So great to have a support category on the bill. Improved production, which is basically HQs, anything that you can find that you can come and race this weekend. They'll be racing around and it'll be just providing some action during the gaps and the very short gaps that supercars have. Craig, let's go for a wander in here to Shell V-Power Racing. It's very, very quiet this morning. Typically for Paddock Pass Live, powered by Repco, we can find a couple of race car drivers wandering around, but because we're on track so early this morning, we can't find any race car drivers, but you might want to go and bomb Larko there and give him a bit of grief.
We can find an ex-race driver. He loves hanging out here.
Just having a coffee, getting a little bit of intel.
Oh, yeah? What is the intel?
Well, seriously, I'm really interested in all the 2 tyres, 4 tyres. Do you, don't you, would you, wouldn't you? What do you like as a driver? You remember as a driver, because we see a lot of putting 2 tyres on a car. I used to hate it. You used to hate it. You probably drove around it better. But drivers don't like putting 2 tyres on, but you got it.
Well, actually, talking about that, from last weekend, it was actually surprising how long the soft tyre was lasting. The deg was actually smaller than we all predicted.
So I don't want to give anything away, but stating the obvious, because they worked out how well a soft tyre goes here, I don't think you're going to see 4 tyres done at any stops.
Which makes it shorter, quicker, hopefully leapfrog.
But the irony of that, Craig, and for people at home, is that if you actually did a a calc on what's the fastest way to get from one end of the race to 38 laps later, it's putting 4 tyres on.
Yes.
But what you lose is track position because of all the kerfuffle in the pit lane.
And what does the master, Mark Larkham, have in coffee?
8 sugars.
Keeps him going.
That says a lot, doesn't it, about how Larko is and why he's bouncing off the walls all day. It's actually just a cup of sugar with a little bit of coffee in there to get him going. So one thing we have covered is that the sun is shining. It's going to be really, really warm here today. A lot of chat about these things here. The Dunlop soft tyre. These are not out here trying to become darker in the sun. They're not trying to get their tan up like I have during the week. They are literally warming up, getting pre-prepped, ready to go for today. You're not allowed to artificially heat these. No. And what we mean by that is you can't put them in a warmer, you can't bake them, you can't bring the temp up. But the sun is not artificially heating them. They're all out the back here cooking, and there's going to be a lot of chat around the Dunlop soft tyre today. Before we go, what do you think today's going to bring for us, having sat last weekend out and watched from home? What's your key thing that you've bought this weekend with you?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, Scotty McLaughlin is in a class of his own at the moment. He took all the pole positions, you know, because obviously the combination between the soft and the hard tyre, people opted to run a soft race. Others had a mixed race. I'm still putting and backing Scotty. I think that his form here this weekend is pretty formidable. I've got to say, though, you know, I know the intel in this garage, and they're very keen to try and turn that around. So they've got a few things on the car from what I believe. They haven't told me because I know I would share it with the rest of the world. But they're very keen to try and find that last sort of tenth or two.
And for me, I think, you know, there's been so much chat around hard tyre, soft tyre. Is it mixing up the results? Is it fake racing? I've been very vocal and said, no, it's not. It's brilliant racing. But this is like an old school science test in year 10, isn't it? Last weekend we had mixed tyres. This weekend we're going all Dunlop soft. We're back-to-back weekends. This is going to prove to us just exactly what the difference in tyre strategy will be if we have a combination of hard and soft. So one thing's for sure, tune in to Fox 506 for all the action today. There's going to be plenty of it.